quick video on where my information comes from, where my knowings come from. How do I assimilate what I state in these videos? The first I'm going to say is an amazing energetic healer, Jenny Morgan, who I've known for 10 years, which is amazing. She has been on this path for many years, ever since she was a late teen, and was born into it in the house as well. So this idea of spirituality and energy and things, it's sort of core to her. So she's been one of those ones. Not that she hasn't had human experiences, but she's studied deeply all the religions, and she understands quantum physics in the meson and boson, the energy waves and the patterns, and how those fit, and how from an energetic form the universe works, how the sacred geometry works. I mean, she and Deanna is the other one. I'm gonna put Zoe in there as well, because she's a different. Anyway, she provides a different one, as does Deanna. But with Jenny, she is somebody who she's the most powerful person that I know of. The things that she gets into, that they get into, the clearings that they do, the activation of pyramids in Bosnia. I mean, the work they do is just incredible. They were just in France clearing all the negative stuff with regards to Mary Magdalene. And correcting that travesty. So she is very well read, very in the knowing, gets downloads constantly, knows what higher self and lower self is. She's been there, done that. She has been my go-to. She's a normal teacher where she's a pain in the ass, because she would only give me words or little snippets of things that I would then have to go spend time and energy to figure out. So she was the perfect teacher for me. I'm hoping these videos just sort of help accelerate that, but you can't substitute it. You can't substitute it. So she was always my sounding board. So I would go out and learn things and come back and talk to her and get corrected or get expanded and whatever it was. And then she's feeding me things as well. And it's amazing how that takes its flow. I get filled, and then I'm working on things, and then it slows down, and then next thing you know, she's engaged again. So and I'm looking for it, or I'm engaged as well. So it's really it's a very cool process when you allow for it. So then I'm going to move to Deanna, and she is a dear friend of Jenny's, and she works at the healing practice with Jenny. Her main modalities are acupuncture, energy work, is energy movement, and then she's also very much into the all of the herbs and all the oils and everything, and just knows that, like, yeah. So I listen to her whenever she speaks, because she doesn't speak much. She has a lot to say, but she has so little time to say it because she is so busy. And there's so much in her head that I'm not the priority, and it's because her work is. And so I don't get to spend a lot of time with her. So when I do, I know that she's made herself available for a specific reason. And so she'll usually have something to talk about. And oh my gosh, it's just amazing, her perspective. And I can ask her any questions again about any of the things that I'm listening to or learning from, and she'll always have a perfect perspective. Or she'll say, You're thinking at it exactly right. I mean, so she's just this wonderful sounding board. Then I'm going to move to my daughter Zoe, and she is just an example of how to be. I tell you, it amazes me the maturity and the wisdom that this one has at her age of 25. And the only reason she had, not the only reason, the reason she has that wisdom is because she's not covered up. Plain and simple. She follows her heart, her intuition is well checked in, and her drive is grounded. She's a very driven young lady, but, excuse me, everything's in check. So, the things that she orchestrates in her work and in her modeling career and how she goes about it, I learned from it because of just how professional and thoughtful. She's like me. She doesn't do many things, but what she does it very deep. Then there are many books on tape, and because I'm not a huge reader, so these are books that I've read. This is Pema Chodron. This is her devotional book, which is just awesome. I have a story about something that came in a journey and then coming back and it opening up to exactly that same thing, which is just cool. New Testament, which is awesome. The Law of Light, that's an awesome book. Bhagavad Gita, it's a harmonica, yes. Zohar, got the Zohar, the Quran. This is Book of Enoch. and then my this is my journal, particularly one of the deep plant medicine work, and just knowings and notes from there. And it really got detailed, and I really it's interesting to watch that process grow. But in addition, now I am not a scholar in any one of these. Remember what my ask was, is who I am, what I am, and why I am. Never said make me a genius anywhere. So I've been led to areas, sections, whole volumes, doesn't make any difference. Wherever I'm led to do, I just do. But I'm not a scholar, it didn't ask to be. I asked to know who I am, to know what I am, meaning what am I made out of, how does this thing work, and why? Why me? So, So I'm not a huge reader because I'm dyslexic, and so and as well, believe it or not, and then the hands, not so much the feet, but the hands are ambidextrous. I eat left-handed, left-handed, but I do everything else right-handed, like golf, and if I were to swing something and tennis, that's all done right-handed. So don't know. So there's something that's I think it's good. But anyway, so reading's not a huge thing for me. But when I'm told to read something because I need to focus on it, that's what I do. Like the Zohar, I was told to focus on it. Book of Enoch, which I've gone through some areas. I was like, holy cow. Then there's people that I listen to, and I was trying to think of sort of a list that would make sense. But Matthias de Stefano is awesome. Robert E. Grant. It's E. Grant, Robert Edward Grant. Very, very smart guy. Very, very smart guy, and brings a lot of the scientific and math into an understanding of how it all sort of fits in the matrix. Greg Braden, he's a wonderful to listen to. He's been doing this for a long time. Carolyn Miss, she's amazing. If you haven't heard of Carolyn Miss or haven't listened to her or read any of her works, oh my gosh, find her. That lady is, she is awesome. I really like Carolyn. She's a bright one. Some of the deeper series were some stuff by Rudolf Steiner, Carl Jung, sort of the old school spirituality gurus, back in the turn of the century, some of them, and then, quite a bit of what was going on in the 30s and 40s. Um, and actually, I think a lot of it got shut down or just didn't get the publicity. But anyway, there was a lot that was published sort of during that time. Now it's harder to listen to because it's more that old English that we're not used to, number one. Number two, they're very, they were talking to people who were a little bit more attuned to, with the eyes to hear, or sorry, the ears to hear, because they may not have had that spiritual spark, but they weren't under the trance as much as people are now. If you were to speak from one of these books at any kind of a large event anywhere, and 90% of people just get up and walk out. I think it was more popular back then. I mean, without a doubt, because they had large crowds that would, sort of follow their teaching. So anyway, I guess that got, snuffed out. Matheus de Stefano does an awesome job. Boy, oh boy, he's got a lot of data, and it's very labeled, and because again, this is work. This requires effort. This requires care and attention. This waking up, this following, the being on the path, there's just not triggers that just flip. You can make those decisions to do so, that you wish to be like that. That's where we get hung up of, well, I want to incrementally do that. Well then, go as slow as you want to. But no, you make the wish as great as it is, and then these things they start to come into place. So again, I'm not a scholar in anything. That's not what it was about or is about still for me. For me, it's continuing to learn every day. I'm spending more and more of my time on the energetic and platonic solids in the sacred geometry, as well as number sequences. I could read some stuff that Jenny's written to me, and it all makes sense, but for me, it's a lot of information overload. And so it's a lot to put together, but that's where I'm headed next. I think we all get called in certain directions to bolster whatever is our natural innate strength or power is that we bring into this reality, that whatever these things that we choose to care about. There we go. Here comes Mark. Whatever it is we choose to care about, and I care about growing. I care about answering those questions even deeper and deeper every day. I care about the energy that I put out. I care about the energy that I consume. Again, I'm not in an anal way. Not at all. Not at all. I'm mindful of it. That's all. I'm aware of it. That's all. Very few things are automatic. Very few things are automatic. So anyway, and then last, but I'm not going to put least. Sorry, I'm going to put one in between it before I get to that. The divine feminine ones that I have, that I know I can count on and that I admire and respect so much, they're a massive sounding board. Jenny, with almost everything that happens, I can take and have her, whether it's learning or personal, doesn't make any difference. Certain books, and then, there's a couple other books I need to say. The Universal Christ, oh my gosh, by Richard Rohr, you gotta read that. The Expected One by oh, I can't remember her name. Oh crap. Uh, is it Kathleen McGowan? I think it's Kathleen McGowan. Boy, you need to read that. That's an eye opener. Oh, that's an eye opener. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, awesome. Any Gnostic, any of the Gnostic Gospels, any of those are awesome. Again, they're written in old, but you'll understand them if you're there, and if you're picking that up, then you are. Trying to think if there's any other series or any other. I can't. I'm sure there is, but anyway. So you get it's not, it's not just one dimensional, and I have a sounding board to check. Oh, another is on YouTube, the Bible stories. I'm telling you what, and there's several other channels. Truth and Wisdom, I think, is one. You'll know which ones are, and what you'll notice now is that there's a lot of common themes. So a lot of people are starting to hone in on helping explain some of the bigger stuff. What I try to do is bring it to just a personal level. They are either usually way out or they're really in the weeds, and I'm sort of in between. Okay, so the last area is nature and animals. I can't tell you how much I've watched the interaction of the wildlife that's just around me, and no matter where I am, actually, and I will say that I am fixated on, not obsessed. When I'm watching it, I'm fixated on I can feel I can sense what's going on, particularly when you have more than one squirrel, right, coming at the feed. The interaction of different species of birds, the interaction of the adult birds trying to get the young ones to figure out that they can go down and get their own food instead of sitting on the fence 2 feet away with their mouth wide open, just like, no. And so you see that learning. I mean, I've witnessed so much stuff. It's incredible. It's incredible. Watching how a robin bathes itself in my clean water for all the other animals, but it's done very mindfully. I got to tell them that it's amazing what they do, and how they do it. It's a big thing to them. Robins, I think, like to have really clean wings. The magpies at my work, and the rabbits that I take care of, that I feed a lot of, but the magpies, they are the most amazing. Oh, they are awesome. Magpies are, they are the coolest bird. Well, crows and ravens are really cool too, but there's not many of those around us. There's some, but anyway, there's a lot of magpies, and they're amazing. They are absolutely amazing. One time, just a quick story. One time I was walking back in the office park, and these magpies were teasing her, and she was starting to charge at it, because they'd be like on a trash can, and teasing her, flaunting her. She'd go tearing the trash can, and they'd get off, and they'd be at the branch above her. Her ears are all up in it. I mean, you could tell they really bother her. It was funny. It was really, really funny. But nature, I learn an awful lot from nature. Sorry, there is one more. I take that back. That is the mindful medicine work. Now, early on, I did ceremonial ayahuasca and psilocybin, and about every 6 months, if not even sometimes sooner. And I would always go in with a grand intention of, usually it was always my heart to joy, but it became, help me be my highest self, my brightest light. And that was the only intention, because I'm not going to go in and ask about, should I take this job or that job. That's not what I asked. I asked to know who I am, what I am, and why I am. So if I'm going to ask that, I'm not going to sit there and define what those are by asking a limiting intention. That makes sense? So ask for big things. But through the use of ceremonial cannabis during the 8 high days, the solstices, the equinoxes, and then the other quadrants. If done properly, if done in a sacred setting, if done in honoring of the medicine and honoring of the highest self, if it's used as a tool, cannabis can be as powerful as an ayahuasca ceremony. It's just not as long lasting. That's my personal experience. And so I will do cannabis ceremonies a few times a year. And then I also have those that request, I'll host them for a ceremony to help them grow. And anyway, but I can tell you that, and the other time you can do those are new moons, full moons, and then individuals' birthdays, because that's an important day. So individuals' birthdays are another way, or another place to have the energies available for deep learning and knowing. And then it's up to you to integrate the information and integrate what you got. That's where the work comes in. So anyway, plant medicine can be a great tool. It's great for those of us that were, covered over for so long and sort of stubborn. It's a great jump starter, but if you're not called to it, there's no need, and you don't need it. It was just getting out of my own way that I felt necessary. So anyway, it served its purpose. If I do it now, it's usually what I do is I get, again, it does serve a purpose. I ask to be my highest light, and I will get information. I will get knowings that support what I've just been thinking about or working on. The last time I did it was on the Merkaba, and I just clear as day got the knowings about the Merkaba, and that it was accurate, and it was whole, it was complete. And so that's what's wonderful about that, is that I can use those times to solidify or grow, but you can't use it to be lazy, and because it'll have the absolute opposite effect. If you abuse it, you'll have the absolute opposite effect. Makes sense? If you say, help me be my highest light, it will restrict your light. Does that make sense? It will work just the opposite. So it has to be done in a very mindful and intentional way. So anyway, the words that I put together are based on a breadth of things and areas that I have confidence in and faith in, that they all do the absolute truest, best that they can do, and are just here to serve. They're not here to serve themselves. And the current people that I listen to, they're not here to serve. They're here to serve us, humanity. That's their intent. And so there's no there's no big name on there. There's no Hollywood type. There's no, and there never will be. Sort of getting back to doing yoga, by myself. I enjoy doing it by myself for a reason. It's about me. Yeah. This is about me. It's not about others. So I'm going to take what I need to learn and grow from, and it's probably going to come from those that had the same mindset. If they put information out there, it wasn't to become famous or become well known or become a celebrity. It was to be of service. And that's who they were. Yeah. Oh, Nikolai Tesla. I forgot about that. I forgot to add in Nikolai Tesla. Yeah. Anyway, peace.